Hello, everyone. I hope you all had an amazing Thanksgiving. I'm still recovering. Need to hit the gym a few days and start a nice little fast before going into the Christmas holidays. But here we are. I missed last week. I actually did not miss it. I intentionally missed it because really episode 7 and 8 really felt like part 1 and part 2 of the Miami trip, and really wanted to see the totality of the argument with the ladies, the chaos, the aftermath, to review it all together in a concise fashion. And after looking at the last couple of episodes 7 and 8, Beef is Served and Queen versus Queen, it's time to scrap this cast. It is time to move on to fresh faces, to fresh storylines, to women who are, more poised, with more couth, with more pedigree. I don't like what I'm seeing since Mia joined the cast. I don't like it. I don't think she's meant for this show. She's definitely good for TV, maybe Zeus TV, but she doesn't feel like a Bravo housewife to me. And I'm just being blunt. She does it, and she's trying to bring her friend Jacqueline into the fold. When I started watching The Housewives, I watched for the opulence of it, to see these women go on fancy vacations, to see the amazing fashions, the dinner parties, just these luxurious lives that they live. And I really think, looking at the Potomac cast, only a few of these women meet that criteria. I mean, only a couple, like 3 women on this cast right now could really do without this show. But let's be honest, for Ashley, for Robin, for Giselle, and for Mia, now that she's having all of these personal problems right now with G's business and family issues, his family basically kicking him out of the business, they need this Potomac check, which means they are going to, go low to keep this check, including producing scenes being fakes, starting up stories. And it's just ugly. And it's just not what I signed up for when I became a fan of Housewives. It's just not. I don't think these women should need it so much that they come on television and they give us fake, phony, manipulative, and they're planting stories. So again, anyone from Bravo's watching, our production company, I think if you guys start to recast Real Housewives of Potomac and look to add some fresh faces, first of all, go back to Escala. I follow Escala on Instagram, and I'm absolutely floored by everything she's doing. She is stunning. So first of all, if you're going to have a housewife who they need to be either an actual wife with a husband, kids, family, an actual storyline, unlike Giselle, who has no storyline, or they need to be, that career woman, someone who's really successful on her own. And we get to see her young, single, amazing life in juxtaposition to the married women of the group. I would love to see that. Maybe you have, you have like a grand dame, keep Karen. Then you have the young, just starting out her family, like Candace. Then you have that middle of the road, already has her kids, strong marriage, strong career, like Wendy, and you sprinkle in some other younger, fresher faces, and maybe another Karen or so. Maybe someone single, maybe like a Patricia, maybe a widow who is just slinging money around Potomac. But the problem is, these women don't want to be on shows like this. So what we keep getting are women who are desperate for this check and desperate for this attention and desperate to keep it, because now we have Robin acting out like we've never seen her act out lately. I mean, she's driving me bananas this season. Listen, I can ramble on, but welcome to Talking Taste with Ty. Let's talk about it. So because we're going to be reviewing 2 episodes, instead of doing a recap of, step by step what happened each scene, because then we're going to be here forever, I want to just really go by characters of the show and just tell you what these characters are up to these last couple of episodes. And we're going to start with Mia, because Mia kind of kicks off the drama. As we saw in the last episode, after speaking with Peter mentioned that he had some beef with Wendy. Well, Mia cannot wait to run back and tell the green-eyed bandits or whatever they're calling themselves. Green Eyed Monsters. I don't know what they are, but Giselle and Robin. Oh, goodness. She cannot wait to proclaim that, oh my gosh, Peter has beef with Wendy, and she hypes it all up only to really get to the restaurant, and we see that Peter doesn't have that much heat or smoke for Wendy, and but Mia needed him to keep this storyline going and to continue that attack on Wendy and that double team, of course, on Candace that Giselle and Ashley are putting together. So this is like a 1-2 knockout with these two characters that they obviously want to see off the show. Mia was also seen in the Beef is Served episode, bad mouthing her sister, use that term loosely, Jacqueline, her sister wife Jacqueline, complaining that Jacqueline's always needing to borrow something from her, like toiletries, only to come find out the next episode that they're taking showers together. Like, really, what's the story? Get it straight. What's really your relationship with Jacqueline? How close are you guys really? Because I am a woman of a particular age, and let me tell you what I will not be doing. That is showering with a girlfriend of mine, or it's just anyone other than my husband seems a little weird. So we get to bar 1. Peter comes around, greets the ladies, greets Wendy, gives her a hug, kisses her on the cheek, it's like, hey, we should talk, or something along those lines. And as he leaves, you saw Mia's face, you saw everyone staring at Mia like, oh, he seemed fine with Wendy. What's up with that? And Wendy was like, Mia's like, oh, let me go run off and get some drama started, because he seemed way too fine with her. So she had to corner him, get up, saunter off into the restaurant. She and Charisse was on her way to the bathroom, and then she and Charisse find Peter. And she wants to get more of the story from Peter. And Peter's basically like, listen, I sent her the contract. I haven't heard back from her. We later find out that he did send her a contract. She reviewed, redlined a contract, and wanted to see the location that Peter had in mind, and then he ghosted her. But nonetheless, that gave me just enough information to go back to the table with a battery in her back and start laying into Wendy. Like, don't start with me, Wendy. And Wendy's like, what? What was happening? Wendy's reaction, she got ambushed. Absolutely ambushed. You know what you did. You don't play with my family. Family? Oh, okay. And she's like, why do you have all this heat? You should have called Peter and let him know you were coming to Miami. Wendy's like, he's not my man. I don't answer to anyone. What is it going to look like, me calling some dude, letting him know when I'm going to be in town? This is a vacation. This is not a business trip. But nonetheless, Wendy and Mia, they kind of start arguing back and forth. And Wendy told her, I don't know what kind of relationship you and your husband have with other people, but me and my husband, we don't play that. Again, she's absolutely right. Peter doesn't own Miami. Peter also has restaurants in other cities. And so why would Wendy even know that he would be in Miami at that time? Again, the ball was left in his court when she sent that text message to him. He had things to do on his end and never commented back to her, replied to her to do his due diligence. Peter is bad at business, as we all know. We've all been able to see from the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Honestly, he's using this as an opportunity to get promotion for his restaurant. Let's just be honest. It looked like a decent spot. Maybe we'll go someday. I doubt it, if it's still open. So then Mia picks up her drink and tosses it. So Karen is sitting in between Wendy and Mia. Mia picks up her drink and tosses it over at Wendy. Wendy kind of dodges it, but it hits a little side of her face and her hair. And she had some curly, wavy hair in. So she was like, oh, you better be lucky I had this hair in. And everyone was shocked. And then you see Giselle and Robin's face. And they are eating this drama up with a spoon, just slurping it up. And then this is where the drama begins. They start arguing back and forth, as they should. Wendy really held herself together. She could not physically go after Mia. Wendy has too much to lose, and she knows that. She's no idiot. So she used her words, and she cut deep. She called Mia crater face, since she and her husband were going around hooking up with everyone, men and women. Then Mia tries to go at Wendy with her handbag, and it's just a nightmare. But anyways, nonetheless, Mia ends up on the side of the street talking to G on the phone, wanting him to book her a flight home, crying. She has broken nails. Broken nails like she's been in the street fighting, honey. She was all the people she was fighting were the guards trying to hold her back. Oh, it was a hot mess. It was so ghetto, so trashy. So trashy. But after this moment, Mia, in her mind, in Giselle's mind, in Robin's mind, is now the victim. She's crying crocodile tears, cannot believing that she spoke about my husband. Honey, she did not say anything about your husband until you picked up that drink and tossed it at her. At that moment, it was free game. So she's being coddled by Giselle and Robin, and they're like, oh, no one's leaving. If anyone's leaving, it's going to be Wendy. And Mia's just so upset. Jacqueline's there with her. They're in on the SUV leading into the next episode talking, and Jacqueline opens up her mouth to say like she couldn't believe Karen didn't do more. So, and at the table, Karen's getting it from Robin as well, because Robin and Giselle, I should say, and I'll get into that when we discuss Karen storyline. So we get back to the house. Mia gets back to the house first with Jacqueline. The other ladies then arrive. Mia decided not to go home, so she's there for part 2, or the episode 8, where she's basically trying to be like the head bee in charge. I mean, she thinks she's the HBIC, calling shots, telling people what to do. Wendy left, so she's just there kind of trying to figure out why Karen's not on her side in totality. And Karen was like, listen, you guys both did things that were wrong. Wendy should not have said the things that she said, and you shouldn't have thrown the drink at Wendy or hit her with her bag. And, they're really not happy with the grace and the fact that Karen and Ashley and Candace, once Candace arrives, are able to still see Wendy's point of view and still want to befriend Wendy. Because right now, in Mia's mind, everyone should be on my side. This is my trip. If you're not on my side, then you can just leave. At which point she then tries to get Candace and Ashley kicked out of the house because the ladies were going to the hotel or going to have lunch with Wendy, because Wendy had since left the house. And Ashley and Candace apparently did not go kiss the ring or ask for Mia's permission. So she comes up to their vehicle as they were leaving, opens the car door, and basically tells them to, leave. When they come back, pack up their things. I mean, just ratchet behavior. Again, they don't end up leaving, but it's just that attitude that she has, that she thinks, really, this is season 2. We know you're not really paying for this trip. I know when I go on business trips, I'm getting reimbursed for all of this, or I'm using a company card. So don't look in my face and tell me that you are being, paying for this out of your own pocket. I'm sure that Bravo gave you a budget, maybe gave you a card, or, something to book this trip with, honey. But you did not, and I repeat, did not pay for this trip. Do not play in our face, because we know this is a TV show and a business at the end of the day. So now we get into Wendy. I want to look at Wendy's side of things. Wendy really is kind of in a difficult place, because at the moment when Mia throws this drink on her, Candace is not there. She leaves alone in her vehicle, goes back to the house to pack up her items. It was only Ashley who comes to help her carry her luggage down. And she's the one that leaves all these women. So it feels like, oh, I was just attacked, and now I'm the one that is out. I'm the problem. I'm the one that has to leave. And so when Candace spoke with her later on, she talked about how she was up all night crying and, how bad she felt about it. And I don't think it was just Mia being physical with her. I really think it was that she felt so alone at that table. Again, Candace was not there. She had not arrived yet. And I think Wendy felt like she was on an island all by herself. Because I do believe that if Candace were there, Candace would have been right there with Wendy, going off on Mia right alongside Wendy. And Wendy wouldn't have felt so alone. She felt like she would have had a friend. I mean, Ashley and Karen are like her kind of friends, but they don't ride for her like that. And she's not stupid. She knows this. Ashley's going to turn on her. She's nice to her right now, but I'll give her an episode or two. Ashley's going to turn on her because Ashley turns on everyone because she's Giselle's puppet. Do not let her slink away and fly under the radar and appear like Susie Sunshine this episode, because we all know Ashley's track record. And at the end, she's going to side with Giselle. And Giselle wants Wendy gone. She wants people not to be able to film with Wendy, and they want to ice her out, so she has to leave. And that's Giselle's plan. That's the same plan with Candace as well. Or they want to just bully Candace to the point that she quits. So Wendy did point out the hypocrisy that Giselle and Robin are treating Mia like a victim, but they villainized Monique when she got physical with Candace. For some reason, people cannot see the parallel. At the end of the day, as Candace said later on, no one should put their hands on anyone, period. If you can't handle my words, I mean, that's what we're supposed to be doing. And I love it that I was watching Erica De Niro TV. I love the diva. She's one of my favorites. She brought up something. I actually mentioned this to my husband over the weekend. Again, people of a particular age, like, hey, remember watching The Real World, which was one of our first really true reality TV shows. As soon as someone got into a fight, got physical, put their hands on someone, they instantly knew they were about to get kicked out of the house. They're about to pack up their bags and they're out of there. People understand that sometimes people cannot handle their emotions and they might become physical, but the network did not condone it. That simple. There was no if, ands, or buts. You're gone. And then they bring in the next person. Like, oh, you got a new housemate. So again, I thought that was really funny that Erica and I both picked up on that. So yeah, good old days in television. Here, apparently you can throw a drink at someone, you can hit someone with your bag, and you get to go cry because you broke a couple of nails in the process while you and your size 13 feet were trying to get away from security guards to attack someone, like you're back in your stripper days. Honey, you're not fighting over tips. You claim to be a boss. You claim to be so classy and you're on this television show, but you're still behaving just like, yeah. I'm not going to call her names. I won't name call. I don't want to do that, but it is very disappointing that these are the people that Bravo sought out to be on this show. That's all I'm saying, and I hope they take a look at this. Monique was a really good fit for the show until she got physical with Candace. But again, that lifestyle that she led, the kids, the husband, just the opulence of it all, she was a great fit for the show. It's a real shame that Giselle and Robin were able to gaslight that entire situation and play in her face. But nonetheless, we don't want to go back to We don't want to go back to season 5. And let's talk about the peanut gallery. Let's talk about Robin and Giselle. Robin should be watching the season and be very embarrassed by her behavior. I'm not sure if Robin, there's a threat for her to be kicked off the show or not, but she really is turning up this season, and she's very, very involved in a little bit of everything, and not in a good way. So during the Mia-Wendy altercation, Robin pulls out her phone and is like, oh, I'm TMZ, but she's only recording Wendy. And she's telling Wendy, antagonizing her, baiting her, saying, if you're not going to fight, be quiet. If you're, just takes me back to elementary school when there's a schoolyard fight, when people are gathered around trying to get two people to fight, and you say things like, I bet you won't hit her. I bet you won't hit her. That's exactly what that reminded me of. This is so ticky-tacky, and ticky-tacky is Robin. She, again, really is leaning into this villain role this season. Giselle has absolutely nothing going on aside from a few pitiful attempts to twerk and just observe everything and trying to pull Karen into this chaos, which is what she's trying to do by placing blame at Karen's feet. She really has nothing to offer to the show anymore. She has no storyline. How have we allowed her to be on this show as viewers for the past 5 seasons? And for the past 5 seasons, she's not done anything. She hasn't done anything since season 2. For the past 5 seasons, Giselle has not had a storyline aside from trying to stir up drama and mess with other people, whether it was Karen, Monique, you know, Candace, oh my gosh, she went after poor Katie. I mean, Giselle is a miserable person with no storyline, nothing to offer. I don't think she should be on the show anymore unless she can give us a storyline of her own. I mean, Everything Beauty went under because she couldn't run that or couldn't sustain that business. She needs something else to do because she brings absolutely nothing to the table except for chaos. So again, like I said, she was using this moment to try to drag Karen into this drama by telling her not to be neutral. She's humping Karen. You're not choosing a side, and she continues to do that throughout both episodes, essentially. The only thing that she did do was when Mia kicked Candace and Ashley, or attempted to kick Candace and Ashley out of the Airbnb that they're staying in Miami. She did tell Mia that was wrong. Like, Mia, that's wrong because let's just be honest. Giselle and Ashley, they need each other there. They're both with the ish. They have a plan. And Giselle needs Ashley there. She needs Candace there. There's more drama to be had. Don't get rid of the girls who are going to cause the drama. Yeah, I will say it's interesting how Robin's all at Mia's butt, but when Mia was twerking in her bikini, the first thing she pointed out was that I haven't seen any lumps or bumps on Mia's butt, and insinuating again that Mia's lying about her health condition. So again, Mia, these girls are also not your friends. So she's hyping herself up thinking, oh, Giselle and Robin are on my side. Honey, they don't like you either. They only like one another. And they tolerate Ashley because they use her as their little puppet to run around and stir up drama. Robin. Also at the beach, while they are twerking and looking ridiculous and old, they made me feel old because I'm like Robin's age, but somehow Robin and Giselle together just feel so antique and so just not. It was embarrassing. So they wanted a photo taken, and these young guys were walking around and they wanted them to take a picture of them. And there was a 21-year-old, really muscular, ripped, all chocolate and glistening guy. And Robin's just petting him like, oh, look at your muscles. It was so awful. It was so awkward. It was so gross watching these women drool over this 21-year-old boy. My son's 19. So if this happened to my kid, I would beat a grown woman, like, hands off my baby. No. No, and no. You guys all look, you could be his mom. Back away. I think even Charisse joked and was like, does he have an uncle? Like, there you go. Well, what about your uncle? Is your daddy single? That's more in their lane. Leave this baby alone. It was creepy, and Robin is just kind of creepy lately. Get over to Karen. Karen is trying to stay neutral, of course, in the aftermath of the incident, which I get. She's the grand dame. She doesn't really like Wendy. She doesn't really like Mia. Let's just be honest. And so she tries to stay neutral. It's fine. I get it. I feel like there's a clear side to be had. I feel like Mia is clearly in the wrong, but I get Karen's playing politics here. So she's going to play that line. I mean, it's Karen's birthday. And I feel like her birthday kind of got really pushed aside in the aftermath of all this drama and this chaos and the group being split apart. Ray sent her some beautiful roses, and she FaceTimed him and thanked him for those. And then we see Mia really try to pull Ray and threaten to cancel whatever little birthday party she planned for Karen. And Karen was like, honey, I have my little cake and a candle. I'm good. Like, she got her roses from Ray. She's fine. Did you really try to threaten a woman who's 59 years old? Like, oh, we're going to cancel your dinner, your party. Honey, no, I can't believe Mia tried that. Again, I think she got really, really, really above herself this season, really, or these last couple of episodes, and she needs to be brought back down to earth because you are not that girl. And she's telling her a lot of this. And I'm not going to talk about this. We all have had skin issues in the past, but I mean, if you've gone through puberty and your teenage years, your skin can wreak havoc, or you're approaching menopause, or you're perimenopausal, your skin can go crazy. But let me tell you, for Mia to spend all that money doing all that work to her lips, the BBL, the body's been done. Honey, all that time you never visited a dermatologist and had microdermabrasion done? Like, a woman who seems to be so in love with plastic surgery, you think that's one of the first things you would do instead of continuously injecting, and putting injections in your lips. All right, let's get on to Ashley. Ashley, I don't want to like you. And I don't. I see you for what you are. And I see you for the chaos that you do cause on this show. But I will say that I do like how she was the only one at the table to verbally say, hey, what Mia did was wrong. Like, if somebody threw a drink at me, we'd be fighting. Like, she was the only person at the table to say that. Karen wouldn't even say that. Karen was just like, oh, it was wrong, but Wendy was wrong. And I mean, Ashley kind of felt like a lot of us feel like, hey, she threw that drink, and after that, all bets were off. She gets what she gets. She was lucky she didn't get those hands from Wendy. So when, she kind of really sided with Wendy on this. And when she went to have lunch with Wendy, it was when Mia opened the car door and told her, like, oh, if you guys are going to go have lunch with her, then when you get back, you need to pack up your things. And Ashley called her petty. When she closed the door, she called her a ratchet H word, garden tool. And I died. That was actually awesome. Loved it. And she got really hyped at the table when they were having lunch with Wendy, and Wendy divulged that they were talking about the situation with Peter. She's like, I'm not even sure why Mia is trying to go to bat for Peter so hard when Peter told me that he doesn't even fool with her like that. He used to go on vacation with him, and she tried to try some snake-ish with a girl that he was dating. So I'm not sure what that snake-ish means, but Ashley got, tell me more, but we didn't get to hear more. So I really want to know what that story is about. Maybe Peter will put it out on social media. I don't know. So moving on past Ashley. Oh, yes. And Ashley, every time we saw her, she had a Corona bottle or a glass of wine. Ashley was lit on this trip. She was chugging, and really tacky clothes. Yes. Ashley needs a stylist. Lovely girl, cannot dress. I think she thinks she can get away with just being pretty, and no, you cannot. On to Candace. Candace gets there when she arrives after the girls have just come home from the restaurant from where the fight occurred or the altercation occurred. And she's pulling, she's driving her luggage in, and Robin's right there waiting for her. Like, girl, you're not going to believe what happened. And she's like, what happened? And she pulls up the video, and she's showing her Wendy going off on Mia. And Candace is like, what? Wendy? What? And she's like, oh, well, Mia threw a drink at her. Candace's like, oh. And, well, that does not justify kind of her behavior. And Candace was trying to explain to Robin, like, yes, it does. Yes, it does. You don't get to put your hands on someone and not have them react. You don't get to throw things at someone and not have them react. And Robin was just like, oh, you just don't get it, or something like that. Because Robin thought she was going to really get Candace onto their side quickly. And Candace peeped it immediately, exactly what they were trying to do. Like, been here, seen this story, no. And so at that moment, you start to see that friction and that divide with Robin and Candace, even though I think when Candace watched the show back to hear all the things that Robin said kind of about this situation with Chris when she wasn't around, I don't think they will be friends anyway. Candace, when they were all outside of the pool, you had Candace, Karen, and Ashley together, and then you had Mia, Jacqueline, Charisse, Robin, and Giselle together on the other end, and they were all discussing the situation. And in true Candace fashion, she's a really, really emotional person. She starts to cry for Wendy because they FaceTime Wendy, and again, she's thinking she doesn't think she knows how it feels to kind of be isolated from this group and feel that you're not part of the group. And now she's at this hotel by herself thinking about this while they're all together, and she's been, pushed aside. And Candace was crying about that. And Robin's like, is she over there crying? Or what is she over there crying about? Or something like that. Something really stupid that Robin said. But Candace, really, out of the last 2 episodes, she and Wendy had what was probably my favorite scene in like 3 seasons. Candace invited Wendy to go with her instead of going to the beach with the other girls or meeting the other girls, back at the beach. She invited Wendy to come along with her to go and hear the track that Trina had put together for her. Yes, The Baddest Bee is featured on Candace's song Insecure. So Candace gets dressed, and she's dressed in this cute little lavender dress, super tiny dress, and she's so tiny. Oh my gosh, I see her, and I was like, oh, I would not give to be 21 and have that little body again. She's so adorable. And Wendy's so excited, and just the sheer joy that was felt in that scene from beginning to end. It's like, oh, this is what Housewives is about. Like these real friendships, these real bonds. You see Wendy genuinely happy for Candace. They're happy to meet Trina. The song is fire. And then they walked off, and even Wendy was able to poke fun at herself and talk about her slithering or whatever she was doing. Remember Wendy's walk that Karen made fun of Wendy's first season? And so you saw them both like slithering out together. Like, it was so cute. Is exactly what you want more of on this show, instead of Giselle and Ashley trying to make up stories, and then Mia trying to continue to solidify her place on this cast by being so extra. Honorable mentions of cast members who are not really cast members. There's Charisse. Why is she there? She offers nothing. She's kind of sleepy Charisse. She's half in and out all the time. She's talking with her voice slurred like this, darling, darling. Her eyes are all slanted. You cannot tell me. And these are just my opinions, but she definitely reminds me of like the ladies who lunch who are popping Zanny while drinking champagne. That's what she reminds me of. Like, she has too much time on her hands. I don't know how she's feeling it, but she seems like she's out of it most of the time. Her words are slurring. Her eyes are slanted. I don't know what's going on with her. I don't like it. It could be all the fillers in her face. And everything she wears is absolutely horrible. She does not dress for her size. It is atrocious. Jacqueline. You know who Jacqueline looks like? She looks like Maya Campbell. Very, very pretty when you get the side-by-side of Mia and Jacqueline together. Jacqueline's gorgeous. Jacqueline's also horrible. She's there just siding with Mia. Also, she's just is a pointless friend of at this point. I don't see why she's there. She can go. I can never see her in another scene again and be totally okay with that. Yeah, so really that was your review of season 7, episodes 7 and 8. Those were the Beef is Served and Queen versus Queen. Kind of lets you know where all the ladies are, what side of the fence that they're on. And this next episode coming up in a few days, on next Sunday, is going to be crazy. I cannot wait to review that. I'm hoping I'll get that out super quickly for you guys. I'm also planning on adding some other pop culture content. I hope to revisit some past sitcoms and past dramas. Maybe we can do Scandal, a revisit of Scandal, shows that I love, and just really talk about some overarching themes in those shows. Just as well as some current events that are going on. I'm not going to talk about Kanye. I feel like Ye's in the news every day, and it's just not really worth it to talk about any of the things that he has going on right now. But I will be kind of bringing you some current hot topics, and we can discuss those. I really look forward to it. If you have not already, please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you guys next time. Love and light. Bye.